terrorism and nuclear weapons, climate change and poverty, genocide and disease.
But it's not a cause for alarm.
That heightened state of alert has now reached the U.S.-Mexico border. Anyone crossing into the U.S. will be watched for flu-like symptoms, but there are no plans to close the border. The government is warning people to avoid traveling to Mexico.
This is out of the abundance of caution, and we will be recommending that non-essential travel to Mexico be avoided.
Schools in New York, California, Texas, and Ohio that have cases of students with swine flu are shut down.
The school will be closed for a minimum of a week, effective immediately.
The government also needs the public's help.
If you are sick, stay home. Wash your hands, take all of those reasonable measures.
U.S. officials still don't know why the outbreak is worse in Mexico, where nearly 150 people have died.
I expect that we will see cases in other parts of the country, and I would fully expect that we'll see a broader range in terms of the severity of infection.
There are now 40 cases of swine flu confirmed in 5 U.S. states.
Well, ABC's Terry McCarthy is in Mexico City. He's joining us right now by phone. And Terry, it's an extraordinary, this is a city of 20 million people, Mexico City, and I gather it's virtually shut down.
Well, that's right, Charlie. There are still some people on the streets, but the level of activity has gone way down. Part of it is government mandated. They have closed all schools. They've closed most of the tourist sites. The museums are all shut down. But a lot of people are just staying at home simply because they're afraid, and so the level of traffic in the streets, for example, has gone way down from what it would be normally.
And I gather schools in the country are closed for quite some time.
That's right. Now, they had closed schools in Mexico City starting last Friday, but this morning they announced they were closing schools throughout the country for another 10 days. And this 10-day limit is significant because that covers both the incubation and the recovery period of anyone with the flu. They're hoping they can flush the flu out of the system by shutting it down for 10 days.
And as you're talking, we're looking at people with masks, those people who are on the streets. Generally, do you see them in masks? Or
yes, indeed. A lot of people are wearing masks now. We've seen that number increasing in the last 2 or 3 days. This morning we were at a pharmacy. There was a huge line coming out of the pharmacy, and most people there were there for one reason: they wanted to buy more masks.
And Terry, we've heard from the President today, we've heard from the Centers for Disease Control, from the head of the Department of Homeland Security. I wonder how much information Mexicans are getting from their government.
They're getting a lot of information. There are daily press conferences. Most of the news coming from the press conferences here are bad. We have an increase in the death toll again today. We're now up to about 149, I think. They're also being told by their government how to protect themselves, how to wash their hands, not to kiss people, not to shake people's hands. So there's a pretty intensive information effort down here as well.
All right, Terry McCarthy reporting from Mexico City today. Thanks very much.
Terrorism and nuclear weapons, climate change and poverty, genocide and disease.